Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my Robinhood portfolio. Hope you guys have been having an awesome weekend. Still raining, unfortunately, where I'm at in this part of the country, so not able to get outside, not able to enjoy the outdoors. Got quite a bit of work done actually in the last couple days, so I've taken advantage, but would still like to get out and at least enjoy some more of the weather until winter comes. But unfortunately, wasn't able to do that today. What I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about my portfolio and this topic, dividend aristocrats. A lot of folks have been asking about, how they can start investing, which companies they should buy. Just a little bit overwhelmed with all the different companies and ways of investing. And when I originally opened this account, my Robinhood portfolio here, I was essentially invested in mutual funds and E-Trade account. Really wasn't having any interaction with my portfolio at all. Simply putting some money in every month and kind of forgetting about it. But with Robinhood, the no commission trading, I wanted to go ahead and try to do a little bit of trading with individual stocks because I didn't have to buy, thousands of dollars worth of each stock to make the trade worthwhile. With $10 commissions for buying and another $10 commission for selling, $20 commission for buying and selling stock was just too much. So if I wanted to buy, a couple $100 worth of stock, that's 10% penalty right off the top. So it didn't make any sense. But with Robinhood, no commission trading, I'm able to go in buy individual stocks. One or two shares of a stock, of a company, excuse me, makes sense. So how did I initially start investing? Well, I went ahead and I kind of focused on dividend aristocrats. I'm going to go through my portfolio and kind of share with you which ones I have and which ones I'm going to be buying. So dividend aristocrats, essentially an S&P 500 company. It's a large cap company, so large market capitalizations, greater than 5 billion. Blue chip companies, which essentially means they're very reliable companies. Um, and they're also companies that for 25 years, for 20 consecutive years, they have increased their dividend payments. So, as you can imagine, companies who have dividend payments are very secure companies. They're very entrenched companies. They have very good balance sheets if they're able to offer those dividends. And not only offer dividend, but offer dividend for 25 straight years. That means they're very, very good companies. So having said all that, let's kind of go into my portfolio to kind of show you guys what I initially did. So it's kind of cool. They actually make, or they not make, but they have offered ETFs or electronic traded funds that have a collection of these particular stocks. So this particular fund here, ProShares S&P 500 Aristocrats ETF. It's ETF. You can see on the bottom there. It's basically tracking equal weighted index to S&P 500 companies. And currently there's 52 dividend aristocrats within the S&P 500. And you can see there again, it emphasizes the fact that it's increased dividend payments annually for at least 25 years. So this is a great way of jumping into investing in aristocrats and having full diversification right off the bat. You don't have to go in and buy individual securities or stocks. It's simply done for you. You can see this ETF. It's a nice little ETF here. It's got a great dividend yield, 2.0%. It's trended down a bit here over the last month and 3 months, but over the year and 5 years, it's been a very good investment. You can see it's relatively new ETF here. Save those. You can also go in and buy individual stocks. So kind of breaking this down per market sector. For healthcare, I went ahead and grabbed first this AbbVie. This is the pharmaceutical offshoot of Abbott Laboratories. This is a great stock, good dividend yield, 3.78%. Like I said, it's a dividend aristocrat, so it's increased its dividend yield for the past 25 years. And for this one, it's an offshoot of Abbott Laboratories, so Abbott Laboratories would be the essential one that has this. Again, this is a great stock, very entrenched company, large cap, a great dividend yield of 2.5%. So for healthcare, I jumped into AbbVie, Abbott Laboratories, and I also picked up Cardinal Health here. This is another dividend aristocrat, great dividend yield, 2.38%, as well as Johnson and Johnson here. So the first stock, AbbVie, was pharmaceutical healthcare, and the last three, Abbott Laboratories, Cardinal Health, and Johnson here, are all sort of healthcare services companies. And again, 2.7% dividend yield, large market capitalization, great company. For industrials, I went ahead and picked up. So actually, I think GE has fallen off the Dividend Aristocrat for this last year here, but it's typically been a Dividend Aristocrat. Great dividend yield, 3.1%. I also picked up 3M here as well. Another great company, great dividend yield, 2.6%. And then for the last one, industrials, I also picked up Illinois Toolworks. A little bit less of a dividend yield, 2.2%, but it's actually increased that. It was 1.7%. So its last announcement here looks like it increased its dividend yield, which is consistent with the Dividend Aristocrat, 2.24%. Going down to materials, I don't have anything in the materials currently. The closest would be this Dow here, which is a great company, but it's not necessarily considered a Dividend Aristocrat. So I'll have to look to add to my stock for materials for Dividend Aristocrat. For consumer discretionary, I have a couple stocks here. I have Target. Again, a very good consumer. I put this under general merchandise, but consumer discretionary, general merchandise, Target here, 3.5% dividend yield. And then for restaurants, I have McDonald's here, another Dividend Aristocrat. Good dividend yield, 3.12%. I think it's trended down here a bit over the last month, 3 months, but overall, a very, very good company. For consumer staples, I have a few fairly old entrenched companies. Colgate here, 2.1%. I also have Kimberly-Clark, another great company in consumer staples, 3.0% dividend yield. For sort of personal goods, I have Procter & Gamble, 3.0% dividend yield here. And then for soft drinks, I have two different companies. Coca-Cola, everybody knows Coca-Cola. This has been around forever. Turned down a bit here, 3.36% dividend yield, one of Warren Buffett's companies. And then Pepsi-Cola as well. A great dividend yield, 2.8%. I'm still developing my portfolio, so I don't have anything in financials with regards to Dividend Aristocrat. So yeah, I'll have to kind of work on that, but T. Rowe Price comes to mind as something I may be adding to that particular segment of my portfolio, as well as information technology. No Dividend Aristocrat. Nothing really comes to mind. I'll have to do a little bit of research to add to that particular portfolio. For telecoms, AT&T has been a great performing Dividend Aristocrat. I've actually put quite a bit of money into this. So $784. 4.8% dividend yield. It's a very, very good dividend yield. And for energy, I also have XOM here. This is ExxonMobil. Very good company. Oil's been coming back of late, and it's made me a little bit of money here. You can see I've upped almost $20 here. So far, those are the Dividend Aristocrats I have in my particular portfolio. As I said, these are great stocks to think about purchasing when opening or when starting a new investment account, especially for new investors. You know, these are large market capitalization companies. They're blue chip companies, so very reliable. They're dividend companies as well, which over the last few years has been really contributing a lot to total gains. So I think 1/3 to 1/2 of total market gains have been from dividends as opposed to market capitalization returns. So these companies, great dividend, solid, large cap, reliable, very, very good companies to invest in starting out. So yeah, just wanted to talk a little bit about Dividend Aristocrats, what I did when I first opened my Robinhood portfolio, what I'm focusing on currently. Like I said, there's still a lot of diversification I need to do in my portfolio, a lot of stocks I'm going to be adding. But those are kind of some of the stocks I initially bought anyway. So kind of tell me what you guys think about my choices there. If you've invested in a similar fashion or are investing in a little bit different way. For me, really large cap, blue chip, high dividend yielding companies are going to be really the bedrock in my portfolio. I'm going to be expanding, like I said, into different market sectors. I haven't really fully diversified at this point. But once I do, then I'll kind of start picking through and maybe selling off some companies that aren't performing well. But that'll be the bedrock, like I said, of my portfolio. Dividend Aristocrats, large cap, S&P 500 companies, blue chip companies that have been increasing dividends for the past 25 years. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So as always, if you enjoy my videos, go ahead and like, share, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Then also leave a few comments. really enjoy having the discussions on the videos. Really want to hear about what you guys are doing, what different strategies you guys are using, and what your success has been. I've been kind of doing that on my video series here, but again, I'm not uh, a long-term investor. I'm a relatively neophyte, new investor here. So any advice, any information that you guys have that I don't have, or that you could suggest for me, would be very beneficial. So again, just wanted to talk about some dividend aristocrats, and we'll see you next